Hiya hustlers, welcome back to our channel. For those of you that have been around for a little while, this is a bit of a different video that I didn't think I'd be sharing with you, and for those of you that are new here, welcome. And to give those new viewers a little bit of context, we have escaped the system, resigned from the 9 to 5, we're mortgage free at 42, and we are trying to build a frugal homestead from scratch. That's essentially what we're doing. This is what the journey will be. We've done the van life, you know, we've done all the 9 to 5 life for 20 odd years, 25 years plus. And now it's about taking the time back for us and having some autonomy around our future. The world is going pretty tits up and we don't want to be a part of what is going on, and we want to be prepared as much as possible. And as much as we're getting disillusioned with the system, we know that there are choices to be made, and we have made the choice that we feel is right for us to just kind of get onto the land, do our own thing and start homesteading. It's a dream of ours anyway, but we feel it's even more important with everything that's going on now. So today, not the video that I had planned to record. Basically, I've suffered an injury. So I've suffered in the past a few times actually with a really bad back, and I've done my back in again. Basically, you can see I'm just sitting with my trusted companion there who's keeping me company, and there's another one down there. Oh, she's off. But basically I've gone through the whole of the last 12 months. My back's been pretty good. I've done lugging stuff about, getting stuff fixed on the van. I've been driving the van. I've been doing lots of trips back and forth from Essex in the car. I've been smashing shit up with sledgehammers. I've been loading up skips. I've been loading up moving vans, moving crates up and down the stairs, the whole shebang. But for some reason, my back has gone, and I don't even know how I've done it. So this is probably like the third day of being in pain with my back, and it always happens. I've got a weakness. Pretty much most of my family have weaknesses in their back, so it's a hereditary thing, but it's also something that I've not really looked after, I would say. I've never kind of sought medical help or anything like that for it. I've got painkillers, don't get me wrong, but I've never kind of been and had it checked out. But I do think, because the more often I keep having these kind of periods of back pain, there's definitely something not right there. Oh, I don't know what it is. But it just got me thinking, you know. So basically, yeah, as I was saying, it's like the third day of having bad back pain like this. And today, all I'm doing is I'm trying to rest as much as possible. Now, it's different for everyone when you're recovering from a back injury, I know that. Firstly, to caveat, I don't think I'm going to recover from this back injury. It's just going to be one of those times where I have this bad back, and then after a few days rest it sort of eases up and goes, and that's how I've managed it. That's not really the best way, I'm certain, but it is what it is, and my back is how it is now, and I've got to deal with it. So I'm just laying on the bed. I've got these two big pillows. If I kind of don't have anything supporting my back, it hurts. If I sit directly on my bum, I get pins and needles and shooting pains at my back. It's always at the bottom of my back. It's really weird because I can walk around for a bit and feel absolutely fine, but then my legs start to feel a bit pins and needly and kind of a bit weak. Going down the stairs is worse than coming up the stairs, and quite frankly, it's just a pain in the butt, literally. So I'm trying to rest, and there was a couple of things that crossed my mind, and I thought I'm going to put it out there and see what people think. So firstly, we're attempting to build a frugal homestead from scratch. Now this has got me a little bit worried because we're not there yet, but what if we was in the growing season, for example, and we had everything kitted out next year, for example? That's sort of where we want to be. Oh, excuse me. How am I going to do stuff? Like, Kelly's not 100% anyway, and there's no way I would expect her to do all the stuff, but how do people cope? Like, what do you do? Like, if you're just not, I'm not talking about farmers or companies or anything like that, but if you're managing your own land and you're managing your own homestead, like, what are the contingency plans? What do I need to prepare for? What do I need to prep for? So essentially, all this week, granted today is really bad weather, so I can't do it anyway, I've needed to get into the garden to mow the lawn, and you've seen me go on and on about the weeds and everything. They come up so quick. It's only just over a week of me not cutting it, and it's already ankle high weeds. That is a different job. Weed and feed is a must, and I need to focus on the weeds, but just mowing it needs to be done, and I've not been able to do that at all. So I've tried to rest up. Tried to do nothing the last couple of days, really, and it's got me a little bit worried because normally after a couple of days it starts easing up and it's fine. I'm on day 3, I think, and it's still quite bad, which means I'm not bedbound. Like, it's not bedbound at all, but it's just more comfortable for me. And you know, when you got pain, you feel a bit irritable and stuff like that. Now my concerns are like the garden. Today's raining, so I wouldn't have been out there to get out there today anyway. But the last couple of days have been nice weather, clear, dry, sunny, whatever. I should have been out there doing that. So I can't see that I'm going to feel alright to do it tomorrow. Hopefully I will, and it's going to be a nice sunny day. But what if I can't? And then I'm trying to get better because we've got a family celebration at the weekend. So we're on Thursday now. You're probably going to see this video on Sunday. So I'm hoping that I would have already made that event. But yeah, it just really got me thinking a couple of things, like I've just stated, like, what do you do? So I guess in terms of preparedness, I need to think about that for me personally a little bit more, because I need to make sure that I do some exercises to work on my core. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a lot healthier than I was before I started on this journey, and I feel so much better other than the bad back. I feel amazing, I feel great, but I've never actively worked on my core, which is stupid really, because I've always had problems with my lower back. Now, I need to focus on that. And I know that when I think of preps and preparedness and, you know, making sure you're ready for whatever comes down the line and what hits you, whatever, I've never really put physical health into that, and then that's ridiculous. Especially knowing all the jobs that we've been doing and all the jobs that we're going to have in the future, I really need to take that as a priority, and that needs to be my priority for me, and only I can do that, right? So I need to focus on that for me. But it's like, we're lucky that today, you know, we made a big batch of chili yesterday. That was made up, so I don't need to worry about dinner or anything today. I did think maybe a little walk would help, because that sometimes does help me. So I went out to the post office this morning, popped in and seen our lovely neighbours on the other side, just to pop in and get some eggs and some bits and bobs. Chatted with them. No, I've had to come back in, and I've just got to sit, basically. So, I mean, I guess I'm out of action, but I know in my last video I mentioned that I feel like I'm in limbo phase. Well, I mean, oh, the thought of limbo, oh no. But limbo phase, now I'm like, I can't even do anything physical, so I'm literally just sitting here. But then, I've said before, I overthink, and things go around my brain that lead to different faults, and they lead to the next faults, and they lead to the next faults. Well, what I was thinking was, although that I'm out of action, essentially, hopefully for not too much longer, when I was in the traditional 9 to 5 and in the matrix and in the system, I couldn't just focus on my back. And I know that sounds ridiculous, and everyone's like, oh, if you've got, I know, if you've got health problems, or if you've got physical injuries or whatever, just focus on them. But when you have a lot of responsibilities in your role, that's sort of impossible. And I've told you before, I'm a real big empath, and I take on everyone else's problems, I put everyone else first, I put everyone else's needs before my own, and where does it get you? Nowhere. But where I'm going with this is that I'm out of action, right, where we are trying to build this frugal homestead. luckily for me, the homestead is just, it's still here, it's there. And my biggest worry is I need to get the grass cut. First world problems, right? But when I was in my previous life, and I'm not reincarnated, this is how I describe it, you'll get used to that if you're new here. My previous life was when I was in corporate world, been in there 25 years plus, senior management position. I couldn't just think, right, my back's hurting, let me focus on my back. So for me, that is a real big change. And again, I go back to the mindset, like I mentioned on the last video. It's a real, like, I feel guilt as well for putting myself first. But this is essentially self-employment, right? Because no one else is going to come and mow my lawn. No one else is going to come and get my homestead ready. No one else is going to come and do all these physical things that I need to do. So I need to get better so I can get on with my life. But when I was in my previous life and the previous roles, I couldn't just say, right, see you later guys, I'm taking a few days out, I need to lay on my back in my bed. You just can't do it. All the different responsibilities where you have to think about, right, I need to get into the office that day, I need to carry on walking with my bad back, I've got to go to that meeting, I need to be at this meeting in person, I need to meet with this person, I need to kind of get online for that meeting, I need to, okay, great, I don't need to get into the office, but I still need to sit in the office chair for 8 hours a day and stuff like that. I don't need to worry about that anymore. I don't need to have all the extra stress of, I'm not feeling great, so then I also need, there's a whole chain of events that needs to happen because in my role I wasn't feeling great. I hope everyone can understand what I'm trying to say and what I'm trying to explain, that although I'm in pain with my back, I don't have all those added things. It's literally just the back. And is that more about living in the moment? I don't know if that's the right thing, what I'm trying to get to. But in the corporate world, and when you're in the system, you're always thinking of the next thing. You're always wishing your life away. You're always thinking, right, just get to the end of this week and then I'm done. Or it'll get better in the next couple of days because we'll have less work on that side. Or it'll be better because that person will be back from being sick and it'll be fine and we can crack on. Now it's just, take a step back. Your back's bad. Don't worry about doing all that stuff that you needed to do because it'll still be there when you go back to it. And maybe I'm the wrong one. Maybe in the corporate world it would have all still been there when I got back, and 9 times out of 10 it actually was. But what I mean is, and I'm probably not explaining it very well, and I do say this, don't I? All these rambling thoughts, they just come in and out of my head, and I just feel like, right, I want to have a chat. It's completely different, okay? So I've had a bad back before. I'd have a bad back. You don't want to call in sick from work, so you make all arrangements, you have to message people, you have to check in with people, you have to change meetings around, you need to get in the office for that one, so you've got to still kind of hobble into the office, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, you make sure something else is covered, you take a little bit out of your diary so you can have some time to just relax. I don't have to think of that anymore. How lucky is that? And that's all part of these big changes that we wanted to make. It's just, all I've got to think of is getting my back better. So, yeah, it's been, like, I'm not exaggerating. This is bad. My back is so bad, and I do feel for Kel because I'm sort of like trying to help where I can, just like hobbling around and everything like that, and I'm no good to anyone like this. But going back to my first point, like, I would love to hear from people that are on the land and doing their own thing. What are the best things that I should think about for preparing myself for? Can I just say, I don't know, I've mentioned The Good Life before, the TV programme. It's a UK TV sitcom from the 70s, I think. There's an episode where Tom and Barbara, a couple who kind of do self-sufficiency and all that. Tom does his back in and he can't do anything, and then Barbara has to go out and get all the potatoes in and get everything in, and it's such a struggle, and he's like hobbling around with a walking stick, can't get off the setting. I mean, that's so good when you watch it on TV and you think, oh, aren't they funny? No, not when it's real life. It's not like that, is it? Because I don't think that in Kel's physical condition, suffering from a chronic illness, she would be able to do all of that. So again, that's a lot of pressure on me, but what do I need to give myself a kick up the bum? Not at the moment, it's a bit sore, to get myself sorted. how do I plan for any eventuality? Now, I've said before that I'm into prepping, preparedness, that type of stuff, you know. And I guess in terms of prepping, we're probably beginners, I'd say. We've been doing it for a few years, but it's mainly like food prep and stuff like that. We've got a solar generator and stuff like that, bug out bags and bits and bobs. But I think I need to start focusing on prepping my physical health as well, because I don't know what we'd do if my back was so bad and Kel was not feeling great and we had so many crops or anything like that we need to do and get out and get in, and would I just have to do like bit by bit? Or, I mean, I guess that's a good thing about having a community. We've got some good neighbours around us and stuff like that, so I'm sure if we needed help, the help would be there. But these are just, I'm just thinking now, like, what every eventuality we need to have covered, because we're a bit more rural. It's not like you can, like, for example, if I had a bad back before and I was laying at home on my own, starving, as you can see, I've never been starving. Just go on Uber Eats, get something delivered, right? There's no Uber Eats around here. You can't just get stuff delivered like that. There's no food places that deliver or anything because we're out in the sticks a bit. So I think one of the things, and I'm quite good at this anyway, we're both quite good at this, is like preparing some, not ready meals, but meals that you've cooked yourself that you put in like a Tupperware that's leftovers and they go in the freezer, so they can just be ready. You know, God forbid in the winter, if my back goes and Kel's not well, like, what about bringing logs in and stuff like that? Or what about if we're snowed in and you need to get the car out and you've got a shovel? Like, the thought of doing any of those physical jobs at the minute actually makes me a bit sick. So I guess in a preparedness sense, those are things that I've totally overlooked, and I need to really start thinking of those things. But I was just thinking about it, and I thought, this is the first time that and can I just say, since we've been living this kind of new life and all that, I've not been unwell. The last time I was unwell was Christmas, and we had such bad flu, it really knocked us out. But we wasn't even here then, we hadn't even bought this place then. So since I've been here, I've not been ill. So this is like, the new life is complicated with everything that's going on. You've got the financial stuff, you've got still jobs around the house that you need to get done, you've got the naysayers, you've got people who don't really understand what we're doing, and people who don't really understand our ideologies and stuff like that. You've got all this stuff that's going on in the economy. All I need to think about right now is my back, and I've never had that. And I think I actually said on the last video that when it comes to being stressed and stuff like that, compared to how my life used to be, and all the thoughts used to be going around in this all the time, my brain's pretty much empty now. Not my brain, I don't think so anyway. My head is pretty much empty now. It's like I can just focus on us and focus on what we need to do, and you're focusing on the living, because there was so many outside influences and so many other things that you couldn't be in the present. You always had to think of the next step, the future, what you're doing tomorrow, book meetings in, do this, do that. And it's like, all I need to think of now is us living this life. And I think that's where the joy comes from, is just doing and living. And that's what we're trying to do. I'm going on a bit of a ramble here, but all I wanted to come on and say is that, one, I've hurt my back. Just maybe a bit of sympathy would be lovely. Only joking. So I've really hurt my back, but I need to plan for this, for the future, because I do have a weak back, and I can focus on getting better now, which is it's still not great because we've got stuff to do, but they can just be on hold for now. But when we are fully homesteading, which hopefully this time next year, like I've said, I'll be chatting to you when I've got all my crops and my veg and my fruit and everything growing. What happens then? Because when it is just us, what happens then? So any advice would be amazing. And any tips on what to prepare for. I love a list, so if I can get some bits down on a list that I need to focus on, then that'll be fantastic. But for me, it's about I keep identifying the massive changes between where I was and where I am now. and I'm experiencing the same things but just from a completely different perspective, and that is really interesting to me, and I'm finding that fascinating. But for now, that was it really, just to check in, keep you up to date with what's going on. My back's pretty bad. I'm hoping if I keep having hot baths, that's another thing I've been doing, ice packs and hot water bottles intermittently, that seems to work for me, and getting up for a walk around and a stretch keeps working. I hope that in a few days I'll be back and I'll be able to get the grass done, all the other bits and bobs that need doing, and I'm really praying that I can make this family celebration at the weekend. But that's me over and out, guys. Just another little chat. Homesteading is part of our soul, and it's what we need to feel good, and we need to do that to make our hearts feel happy. And it's just a lot of learning along the way, and that's where we're headed. We follow a lot of inspirational people that are doing the same thing as us, that are also a lot further along than us and a lot cleverer than us, and we're taking a lot of inspiration from all those people. These are going to continue to be my rambling thoughts while we're building our homestead. I will be coming at you with proper homestead things in the future, trust me. But for now, it's just building up to that point to start the homestead. And, you know, we've done all the hard things. We've changed our lives. We've moved to a new area. We've bought this property mortgage-free at an auction. And then we're going to start focusing on the land. And we have got a hell of a lot of stuff to do before we can do that. But this is the journey towards that. And I hope that in the future you will join me in looking back at some of these memories that we have, and where we are now and where I am now, sitting in bed with my bad back, moaning about not having any crops and what would I do if my back went when the crops are there. And hopefully I can show you that clip when we're walking around our homestead, because we have got a homestead, but it's just not proper yet, if you know what I mean. And that probably leads me into one of the next few videos, maybe not the next one, but one of the topics I do want to discuss is, we say we're homesteading, but when do you actually become a homestead? I'm really interested in discussing that with you guys at some point. So thank you for listening. Really appreciate it. We're getting a lot of engagement, a lot of new subscribers coming through. So thank you so much for all the support. It means the world. It means that we're on the right track and we're finally starting to find our people. So I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will catch up with you on the next one. See you later, hustlers.